Hello boxing fans and welcome to another news update. I'm Steve Wellings and we are going to be discussing the news that unbeaten Olympic champion Anthony Joshua will face Gary Cornish for the vacant Commonwealth heavyweight title. And one man who's really excited about this fight on September the 12th at the O2 Arena is Mr. Alex Morris. He's salivating at the prospect, can't hold himself back, so we're just going to step down and let Alex take the floor. What do you think about this one?
I really don't want to moan too much about this one. Well, I do really want to moan about it, but I want to save my moaning for closer to the time. I don't want to waste all this quality moaning time and quality aggression, so far out from the fight. All I can really say is that, Anthony Joshua was supposed to be fighting this weekend, basically Saturday. I don't know when this video is being released, but he was supposed to be fighting on this Manchester card, and he had to pull out because he was fighting a very significant opponent in September. And this opponent turns out to be Gary Cornish. And he's not going to be fighting Gary Cornish. Well, he is in the ring, but the whole reason Gary Cornish is here is because he brings along Kelly Maloney. And this is the whole thing about it. Hearn wants Kelly Maloney. Hearn wants to bring along all the fucking spastics who watch Big Brother and all that other nonsense, and saying how brave old Frank is for turning into a fucking woman who looks like a fucking gargoyle. That's all Hearn wants. Hearn wants this market of fucking idiots to tune in to watch Anthony Joshua continue his journey along his fucking hype train against the big, well, he's not even a big stiff idiot, he's just fucking useless Gary Cornish. So it's a shit fight. Hearn promised us better, and all it's doing is biding time to fight a Dillian Whyte, and this is a classic Hearn move. He puts his guys in with absolute shit until they step up a little bit. And Dillian Whyte, I've been a big proponent of his, but it's still going to be a tall ask for him. And Hearn should be really putting Anthony Joshua in with far more significant opponents. I mean, Gary Cornish has got a big shout for being one of the worst Anthony Joshua opponents we've ever seen.
Well, for those of you who don't know anything about Gary Cornish, we actually have two Scottish experts on the line. I know Andy Roy's here, and Andy, Gary Cornish, 28 years old, he's won 12 of his 21 fights by knockout, and he's the unbeaten IBO Intercontinental Champion. That must mean something, surely?
Yeah, it means he's fucking shite.
You're not giving Big Gary a chance then, no?
Steve, Inverness is a place that's got 72,000 people in it. Cornish isn't even the best fighter in Inverness, so what the fuck is this massive fight that we're going to have? Joshua's in a big fight, blah de blah de blah, and they pull fucking Gary Cornish out of that. I mean, come on, the fuck. When are they going to step him up to somebody that I want to see him in with somebody kind of maybe about 6'5", 6'6", that can throw a punch back? We don't know what kind of chin he's got at all. I mean, we've not seen him. He had 12, 13 fights, and has he took anything on the chin? No, nothing. So, we put him in with all these trash cans. It's just, are they ever going to fight anybody that's a live body? I mean, when are they going? I would like to see him in with somebody like, I know Whack is fucking, he's shite, but he's big, do you know what I mean? So he can maybe fucking, can ruffle him up and see if he can take it down the stretch, do you know what I mean?
But surely Cornish has a chance. I mean, surely he has a chance of getting to the second or third round, no?
Nah, I know he's been chinned in sparring a few times. So I think it would be possibly, he wouldn't get by the third round, honestly. First or second round, he would just, it's a fucking terrible fight, it really is.
Brian, Gary Cornish, Anthony Joshua, Kelly Maloney, formerly Frank Maloney, knows a good heavyweight when she sees one. She sees something Gary Cornish, so someone as astute as Kelly knows what she's talking about. She's not bringing a loser into the ring on September the 12th.
Aye, probably bringing her boyfriend, that's what she's doing. But, I mean, see, the thing is, I don't even want to shit this because I'm the one that's like traditional, that likes like boxers to go for the Commonwealth, the British, the European, then go for the kind of fringe world level, then go for a title. I really like boxers doing that, so I don't really want to shit in this, but it's my duty. I need to. So the fact that he's got a fight in December, I mean, I know that like, it's quite good that they're kind of staying active, but see the fact that you're already booked a fight, not just like the fight, the venue you're at, you've booked an opponent, so that's all built around like, you not losing. So I said earlier on, I don't know if something's been done in the background to where to get Lucas Brown to vacate that title and maybe Hearn's going to take Lucas Brown and get him, whatever, a couple of fights or something like that, because it's a bit fucking shady that Brown all of a sudden vacates the belt and Cornish is fighting for it when he's a big lump of shite, man. Honestly, he's going to embarrass my country, and then this is going to be even more painful than the no vote last year. Watching this pish.
Oh, don't mention that. Fuck's sake.
I know, but see, look, I mean, they've got a common opponent, Paul Butland. Cornish stopped him in 5 rounds, so Cornish absolutely fucking ruined Butland, and then Joshua finished them off to the next fight, stopping them in 2. So, I mean, he done a better job than Cornish. So, but he's not even a big puncher for a heavyweight either. But it looks like he's one of the gingers that's kind of trying to hide it with like the kind of fairy blonde hair, but he looks like a ginger bastard.
All you've got to know,
blonde, no?
No, I don't think so.
This fight. All you've got to know about this fight is that Hearn and Joshua think that Marius Wack is too much of a step up at this time. That's all you've got to know.
Yeah. Right, lads, as you probably can guess, I'm going to try and not defend it, but I'm going to try and justify it. Gary Cornish is unbeaten in 21 fights, so he's probably going to be the first unbeaten fighter that Joshua's faced. And actually, Gary Cornish brings something to the table that Mr. Morris has been asking for. Height. He's going to be a different test for Joshua. 6'7" according to BoxRec. Now, I wouldn't know Gary Cornish if he walked in my front room, to be honest. But they're going to sell it for the Commonwealth title, obviously, so it's going to be his first title fight. Unbeaten opponent and tall opponent. There's, that's actually things that we want to see. We don't want to see Frank Maloney sitting ringside, but that's what we're going to get shoved down his throat. And this.
Why don't you want to see that?
Because I think it's just don't get me started, Steve. I'll end up getting arrested. I don't need to be getting onto that. But this thing about booking 2 fights in advance, I don't like that either. I think that's not only disrespectful. It also, if they're bigging up this December fight, which they've been doing for a few weeks, it automatically means that whoever he faces in September, or any date before he fights Dylan White, is not going to be good enough. So, and this is Gary Cornish falls into that bracket. When it first got announced that he was not fighting on this Saturday's bill, even though I've got a ticket, I was actually glad that he wasn't, because it meant that the hype train didn't have to stop. It could have just it could have just carried on going quietly along to September, because he would have been in against Pish on Saturday night as well. But I've got the official Matchroom press release here now. Putting the content on here may get me removed from the list, but apparently Joshua is in the process of turning the O2 into his boxing fortress, having made his debut in stunning style in October 13, blah blah blah, back to blah blah blah, Kevin Johnson, blah blah blah. And I like how they always refer to him. The first words of the press release are, Anthony Joshua, MBE, will face Gary Cornish in his first major title bout with the vacant Commonwealth heavyweight title. Who had the title before these two fight for it?
Lucas Brown was saying.
Well, Lucas Brown, obviously, communications with Ricky Hatton have come to a standstill, as Twitter is the only way to communicate nowadays, with both socially and professionally, and obviously he's been blocked by Ricky, so that's why the Commonwealth strap has left Mr. Brown's possession. So, but yeah, they'll be able to sell it. If you guys I've not spoke to one person who thinks Gary Cornish is any good. And I certainly don't expect to speak to anyone that thinks he can beat Joshua.
Well, I retweeted a couple of them earlier on saying it was a mega fight. But let me give you a bit. I'll give you a bit of information about Gary Cornish. Right, see, his 21 fights. He's only fought 7 people with a winning record, and a couple of them, I'll tell you what it is: 8-3-1, 5-1-0. He's got like fucking 4-1.
Who was his last fight again? Did he not go the distance with a guy that's fucking... I can't remember the guy's name.
No, it was TKO. His last fight was in May. TKO 4 against Zoltan Sauza.
Who was one of the guys that had like a winning record.
Yeah, 8-1.
Wasn't Zoltan that cunt from Dude, Where's My Car?
He's got a big points win over Larry Olabamiwu in...
points win?
Yeah,
points, 8 rounds. 8 rounds.
That says it all.
Olibamiwu had a point deducted in the 6th for holding a syringe or holding his fellow opponent. I don't know.
Adam,
no, I don't
Adam,
care. I'm not.
we're gonna have to cut you off there. We're gonna have to cut you off there. Put Big Larry now. Come on now. We all know Cornish is shite. I suppose even without looking at his record, we know it's a bad one. But Paul Ainsworth, you were saying on the Skype, which was true. Cornish was supposed to fight Dillian White at least once in a British title eliminator. He withdrew from that. The rumblings of the Joshua fight must have been on the horizon for him at that time.
I think for once it's down to money. I think he probably knows he gets spanked by White, but it's the less money they get for fighting AJ. But I could be wrong, but I thought it might be 18 months ago when it was first mentioned about him fighting White, and he sort of managed to sidestep it then. But I think the board actually called for the English title. Oh, it wasn't the English title, sorry. I think it was British Eliminator, actually. And he ducked it again. So, I'm not sure, but I've only seen a little bit of Gary Cornish. And that little bit was him getting dropped by a guy who's 5'11", and his record's 3 wins and 11 losses.
Is that David Price at your door? Because the dog's barking.
I've not got a dog, so it's better be at my door.
Maloney.
Carry on, Paul. Go ahead. Go ahead, Paul.
But yeah, so based on that, and it was a heavy knockdown it took. It was early in the fight, but if that's anything to go by, he's just going to get blown away in about 30 seconds.
Okay, so Paul, give us a quick prediction then for this Joshua Cornish fight.
Well, I think 2 rounds, if that. Maybe even a 1 round blowout inside a minute. Without I think Cornish is. He looks like he's upright. He looks a bit stiff. So I think depends if AJ wants to carry him for a few rounds, but it should. It's not any chance of him losing at all.
No, not at all. I'm going for a first round blowout as well. Alex, if you have any Price news, update us. But give us your Joshua prediction while you're at it.
David Price by. Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua whenever he wants.
Yeah, fair enough. Andy, you're still on with us, aren't you? What do you reckon?
I'm the same, mate. It'll be just basically pretty much every fight he's had so far. Steve, it'll be first round to third round, but it's not a fight at all. It's the only thing that Cornish has got is height. I know Adam said that he was quite tall and that, but honestly, just wait till you see the fight. The guy he's nowhere near better than anybody he's faced already. So it's not a step forward for me at all. I mean, I know it's got the Commonwealth title attached, but because it's got a meaningful title doesn't mean it's a big fight. Do you know what I mean? It's a stay still fight for me. That's my thoughts on it.
Brian, what about you? How do you see this one going?
It's going to be like fucking Pulp Fiction, isn't it? And Big Anthony Joshua's head. And fucking Cornish is Marcellus Wallace, and he's going to get fucking pumped rotten. That's as simple as that.
Excellent analogy, Brian.
How can you top that, Adam Smith?
Cornish just going to be an AJ blowout, and then we'll start the hype train towards Dillian White, and then we'll be fighting Vladimir by February next year.
A Price, 50-50 quagging.
Don't forget, Joshua's a type of athlete and phenomenon that you tell your grandkids that you've went and seen. Remember that one?
Mate, that was to me. Someone said that to me. Genuinely, someone said that to me at the O2.
I think we're all unanimous in our verdict that the future People's Champion, Anthony Joshua MBE, will be winning on September.
Fuck you, Eddie Hearn.
Yeah, we'll leave that one for another video maybe, but thanks anyway. That was Brian King you heard there, and he was joined by Adam Smith, Alex Morris, Paul Ainsworth and Andy Roy. I've been Steve Wellings. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to give us a like and a subscribe, or share this video with your friends. We'll speak to you soon. Thank you.
Gary Cornish, IBO Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah, big white streak.
WBF champion.